I stuffed a V8 engine into a personal watercraft. And then put a turbo on there. Earlier this year, we lost our third engine on this machine. Instead of rebuilding it the right way, we did it the more backyard do-it-yourself way. The question you'll be wondering is, how long will the engine survive once we get it out there on the water, and will it be long enough to hit our goal of 100 plus miles per hour? Or will we lose another engine like we've done so many times before? Last time, the GPS speedometer seemed to lose its mind as we were closing in on our target speed.
I may have done it, but both of my GPS are not working right now.
Even though I think we did hit our target speed, we can't claim it because there is no proof. Will the GPS play nice today? And will the ski run fast enough to meet our goal of 100 plus miles per hour? Or will we encounter another setback that will send us back to the drawing board? So come along for the ride as we dive into our 6th day back testing on the LS V8 Turbo Personal Watercraft. Day I don't know what of testing, but I'm out there testing to see if I can get a good GPS signal, and there's something kind of holding it back in between the 62, 63, 6400 RPM area. And I finally did a modification I've been needing to do the entire time to the V8 Turbo Ski, is make the throttle so it can go wide open throttle. Now the lever, when you pulled it, you could only go 75% max. Now I have modified it, as you can see, just a quick little bracket so we can do wide open throttle pulls. The tune is max RPM 6500. If we can hit that, then we can think about bumping it up. If we're still stuck in this weird hump where we can't get over the early 6000s, then I have some other ideas to get to that. Here's the situation. I went out there for about 2 minutes and I never got a GPS signal on my dash at all. So you see if there's something loose here. Non-functional. So we'll make a run and get some data so I can check that throttle thing, but I won't have the dash showing speed. I'll get my phone. But I like to have 2 things to verify speed with. Let's do whatever we got to do.
Alright, just gonna run out to the spot where we're gonna do this and get our gear set up.
smoking up in there, but I don't know, not too worried about it. Let's see what we got speed-wise. I'm not hoping for any miracles here. Yeah, that's what I thought. 92. I think it ran faster with the rev limit set lower. So definitely something weird going on. Let's drop that rev limit back down and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like something's melting. It smells like burning rubber or plastic, so send it back to the garage. This whole time I've been thinking it's just the oil burn off from the anti-corrosion spray, but it was something else. I found this wire resting on the exhaust. Now this is the wiring for the bilge pump. So I hadn't had much need of the bilge pump, fortunately, but I do want to get this repaired and rerouted. So I'm hoping that will take care of our smoke, and I'm hoping getting rid of the smoke will help how the engine is running, and we can get out there and get that number. Now, if that doesn't get us where we want to be speed-wise, I'm going to seriously start looking at our intake grate for the jet pump, and I'm wondering if it's hitting a point where it can't pull enough water through to get the RPM that we need. And I know that sounds weird to say that, but our jet pump is spinning way faster than the original design, and we have a scoop grate on there, and the scoops kind of block off some of the water flow. So without the scoops, you would have more surface area to flow water, but the scoops are kind of meant for initial hookup, and they're sort of limiting the water flow. Helped us with a problem we were having a long time ago. So I kind of think we're gonna have to find some happy medium between the old problem we had and the new problem we have. So I think some refinement and adjustment is going to happen. Okay, throwing it in for what I would consider a quick test. I'm hoping to get at least one run in. I have made some improvements, like it won't be smoking up in the engine compartment, at least I don't think it should be. It doesn't have that wire melting anymore. And I also have raised the trim up to where I think it was that day when I made that 96.6 mile per hour run. I'm really hoping for something good to happen out there. Let's see the negatives or the drawbacks. I haven't looked into the intake grate and if that's holding us back yet. And basically, if anything goes wrong today, that would be bad. But hoping for the best. So yeah, let's just get in there and go for it. coming in kind of like this, so I'll be going like this. The wind will hit me like that. I had good news, but no, about 90 miles an hour. I'm in here working on the V8 turbo ski, and I'm about to do I could get really into the weeds on this, but the simple version of this is that this is the intake grate that is currently on the ski, or has been on there for all of the runs for a long time. And we had to switch to this intake grate because the stock one was letting too much water into the jet drive. And I know that sounds totally weird, and what does that mean? You want a lot of water to go through there is my thought, would be everyone's thought. But with the stock one letting too much water in, it eventually lifts up the back end of the ski because the jet propulsion system, or the water jet system, can't process that much water. It sort of backs up, and then it lifts the back end of the ski up, drives the nose down into the water, and then it swerves very sharply, and usually the rider flies off. So we did encounter that problem back when we were running around 85 miles per hour, and that's when we switched away from the stock unit to this aftermarket unit. And you can see these winglets. It's got all these wings and stuff that sort of block off the water flow. So yeah, there's a lot more surface area on this one for water to come in, a lot less surface area on this one, and how they kind of get around it not being bad as far as acceleration goes is how they designed it to have the water comes in like this when you're starting off. So this kind of scoops the water in when you're taking off, and you get enough water on acceleration. And then you easily have enough water if your top speed is fairly low. I've looked it over. I've thought about what's going on here. And the reason I'm doing this is because the ski sort of hits like a barrier at the low 6,000 RPMs. So think your 6,000 to 6,400 RPMs was some kind of really hard, difficult spot for the engine to overcome that RPM. My theory is that this blocks off enough water to the point where at that RPM, it's like our jet inlet is sucking through a tiny straw, and it can't overcome that. That was a lot of words to try to say that I'm going to modify this thing to hopefully be slightly better at letting water in, but not so good at letting water in that we have the ski lift up in the back and have the rider fly off at, very high speeds. If you need to buy parts for your personal watercraft, it would be awesome if you bought them from us. Check it out, jsbparts.com. All right, there we go. That's my slightly modified version for this intake, water intake setup. Gotta get this back installed on the ski. We'll get out there on the water and we'll see if it does anything. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and wherever you are, hope you're out there on the water.